Yes? I can start? Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Metro East. I said our name backwards, but you'll remember it now. Whether you are with us in person, live streaming, or watching this later on a video, we're glad you're here and part of our community and joining us. If you are here in person, please remember to sign the guest book. If you are online, please email us so we can keep in touch. I hope that your time with us will be meaningful. We are a faith of covenant, not creed. So we have a wide diversity of theological beliefs as long as they are consistent with our principles and values. As a people of covenant, how we relate to each other is important. We are here to be a beloved community that welcomes all. I am Reverend D. Evans, ordained by this congregation and Abraham Lincoln UU congregation. I'm an affiliated minister with Elliott Unitarian Chapel in Kirkwood, Missouri. I welcome you to our worship together. We will begin our worship with a prelude by our accompanist, Joy. A central ritual in Unitarian Universalist faith is the lighting of the chalice. It symbolizes that we have entered a sacred space and are preparing our hearts for the blessings of a beloved community. If you are watching elsewhere and have a chalice, please light it with us. Our chalice lighting today is with Love for Mothers and for Mothers by Selena Fox. We kindle this flame with love for mothers and foremost, present and future. We kindle this flame in celebration of community and its generations. We kindle this flame with respect and support for the greater circle of life of which we are all a part. No, the wick was buried. Thank you. I made sure we had oil. I did not look at a buried wick. So you learned something. Okay. We're going to do our first hymn, no matter if you live far or near. Please stand in body or spirit, joining in singing hymn 181. The words are projected on the screen. When we when I thought about this hymn, and I thought, and then I thought, it's good to add new things to our repertoire so we don't just sing certain things. And so next time this will be easier for us. We share in a ritual of joys and sorrows. Placing stones in a bowl represents putting those joys and sorrows in the hands of the community. We invite those watching online to also do so by using a bowl and whatever stones wherever you are. For those present here, if you would like to put stones in the bowl, please begin starting with the last row of each section. Come down this aisle on that side, this way, and go back the other way. Thank you. Let us enter into a time of meditation and prayer. Each week we put stones in a bowl. May this ritual be a symbol of how it is to be a beloved community. May our hearts be like this bowl, holding the joys and sorrows of this community. May we be understanding when others want to share, and may we respect when others do not want to share. Because we are an interconnected web, may we know that we can still hold others in our hearts. This day and the rest of the week, may we particularly hold mothers in our hearts. If you are so inclined, send compassion and love to all mothers. So may it be. Another ritual that we have is a time for all ages. So today I have a story that is sort of real. And if you want to know the theme of it, that's the theme. But I made up the story in some ways, and in other ways it's true. I did change names to protect the innocent, but I really doubt that you would know any of these people because they don't even live in Illinois. So this story is about being a mother. Stacy was excited. Jackie, one of her friends, planned a camping trip, and Stacy was invited. In all, there would be 8 girls, 14 and 15 years old, at the state campground park. Jackie's 19-year-old sister would take them, drive them, and stay with them. Stacy's brother Lance taunted her. "You really think Mom's gonna let you go? No way." Stacy looked at her brother as if he had just said the dumbest thing in the world. "It's girls, Goofus, all girls." They were leaving at 6 in the morning, so Jackie was already packing when her mother came home. Stacy was already packing when her mother came home. Stacy rushed to her, telling her about the camping trip. "Let me find out more about it." As her mother started to call, Stacy wondered what else was there to know. Her mother knew all the girls. Her own family had been to the state park many times, and there would be an adult there. Why did she need to call? As her mom talked, Stacy could hear her ask Jackie's mother a lot of questions. But when Stacy heard her mother say, "No, I don't believe she'll be going," Stacy screamed out loud, "Why? Why can't I go?" Her mother put the phone down. "Sit down. Let's talk about this." "No," said Stacy. "I don't want to talk about it. Why can't I go? You know everybody that's going. You know Jackie's big sister. You know where it is. Why can't I go?" Stacy's mom quietly explained that one 19-year-old who had some problems of her own was not enough supervision for 8 girls. "Told you so," said Lance. Stacy glared at her mother. "I'm going." "No," her mother replied. "They are not picking you up tomorrow." "I hate you, Jackie," Stacy erupted. Both mother and daughter stared at each other in shocked silence. Lance piped up, "Now you're really not going." Her mother turned toward the sink, filled a glass of water, set it on the sink, turned back and looked at Stacy. "Stacy, that made me angry. That hurt. But I just want you to know I still love you." Stacy was still angry. Her mom was still looking at her. Tears suddenly came into Stacy's eyes. "Mom, I'm sorry." "Sit down and let me explain," her mother said. And our story ends here because the story lets us know it's not easy to be a mother. Please remain seated while we sing 108, "Life Flows On," in endless songs with the words projected on the screen. reading today is For All Mothers by Linda Susan Ulrich. For all mothers and mother figures, the grandmothers, aunts, and extended family members who mother, the soon-to-be mothers, they wish they were mothers, the never wanted to be mothers, it's complicated mothers, the birth mothers, foster mothers, adoptive mothers, stepmothers, the used-to-be dad mothers and more than one mom mothers, the single mothers, separated mothers, stay-at-home mothers, and house mothers, the grieving mothers, those who grieve their mothers, and those whose grief is complex, for all the communities that mother, and for all who depend on the Great Mother, you are held and beloved. Happy Mother's Day. This morning, I'm not going to get into a debate about who a mother is. Rather, I'm going to talk about the way I see mothers treated today and the ridiculous standards we hold them to. However, I'm not going to ignore history. In my newsfeed was an article from the Washington Post that said that Anna Jarvis founded Mother's Day. That article surprised me. I thought Julia Ward Howe began Mother's Day. Howe was a Unitarian, an abolitionist, a feminist, a social justice advocate, and wrote the battle hymn of the Republic. Yes. Incidentally, this song was not meant as a glorification of war, but the experience that Howe and her husband had when they found themselves near a Civil War battle. It was also a call to free the slaves and angered the Southerners of the time. So the claim that someone else founded Mother's Day meant that I had to do a little research. So who was Anna Jarvis? She lived in West Virginia and organized a day in 1858, the purpose of which was not to honor mothers. Rather, it was to clean up the waterways. She wanted mothers to get together and clean them. So that Mother's Day was a woman's work day. In 1876, her daughter, also called Anna, apparently heard her mother pray at the end of a Sunday school lesson in their Methodist church that she hoped for a day to honor all mothers. Now, that's 76. Rewind back to 1870. In 1870, Julia Ward Howe wrote a proclamation of Mother's Peace Day. And so this proclamation of Mother's Peace Day essentially called for women to unite and not listen to those who would call their sons to war and destruction, nor should mothers let those people prevail. Now, I would read this proclamation, but I'm not sure if I can legally read it aloud because we live stream our service. But you can easily find it on the internet. Based on this proclamation, for about 30 years, which would bring you to 1900, Boston celebrated this Mother's Day with numerous parties and festivities. Now we're going to forward to 1907. Anna Jarvis, remembering her mother's wish for Mother's Day, began a campaign for a national day to honor mothers, which she called Mother's Day. She persevered until 1914, when President Wilson declared the second Sunday of May as Mother's Day. No matter whom you want to claim as the founder of Mother's Day, what happened after Wilson's declaration is something neither woman wanted. The day almost immediately became commercialized with cards, gifts, flowers, and so on. Jarvis tried to get Mother's Day stopped and even sued to get Mother's Day removed from the calendar. She was not successful. Now, let us fast forward to the present day. I'm not against Mother's Day. What I am questioning is not only how we celebrate this day, but how our current expectations of mothers are impossible. When our country was mainly agricultural, we had a very small middle class. In an agricultural society, both men and women worked to help the family survive. Children were not the center of the mother's world. She had way too much to do. The children were either in school, working on the farm, or amusing themselves, except for an hour or so at night. The move to industrialization changed all that. In the 1950s and the 1960s, the stay-at-home mother centered her children. However, since 1970, real earnings have fallen. Essentially, this means your paycheck goes more and more for essentials. So will some declare women return to work because of the women's movement. The reality is women return to work because families needed two incomes to either survive or to stay in the middle class. However, the expectations that women would live a child-centered existence that developed during the 1950s and 1960s did not change. Women were expected to remain the primary child-centered caretakers and also work. The Bureau of Labor has all kinds of interesting statistics if you're into that thing. They are really revealing. No matter what their children's age, women spend more time in childcare than men. While men's paid work has slightly longer hours than women's paid work, the combined number of hours in paid work and parental care remains significantly longer for women. Not my opinion, Bureau of Labor. Now, please understand, I'm not putting men down. What I am saying is we have all this day in celebration of mothers. Yet we expect them to work longer and harder. If we really celebrated mothers, we would stop this ridiculous expectation. As Unitarian Universalists, allowing this to continue violates our second principle: justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. The fact that mothers must work longer certainly is not justice. I looked up the definition of equity, to make sure I was accurate. Equity means that we realize we do not all start at the same point, so we have to make adjustments. We are denying mothers equity. They are starting at a different point, a different set of expectations regarding childcare than men. We are certainly denying mothers compassion. Several sources of research show that mothers feel more stressed than fathers, feel that they are not living up to society's standards of childcare, and feel very judged by others. Now you're going to say, why didn't I quote? Because there were too many sources to quote. Frankly, in our society, we have no compassion for mothers. They must not only do most of the work, they must also be perfect. In research, I found some of the things expected of mothers. Work outside the home. Find appropriate childcare for when you work. If you do not work, you have all the household and childcare activities on your plate. Plan all nutritious meals and get the food for those meals. Arrange all medical care of the child. Monitor their physical health. See that the child has mental and physical stimulation. Get involved in their educational pursuits. Monitor their screen time. Also know what they're doing when they're on the screen. Plan their playtime, because society will blame you if you ever let your child play for 1 minute without you supervising them, even if it's in your own backyard. Be sure you provide moral development. Look after their mental health. And if your child is unhappy, you better do something about it, because it's your fault as the mother. Also, make sure you raise your child to be kind and compassionate. Make sure they play well with others. Oh, and I forgot, make sure you maintain an immaculate house. Where did I get all this from? Articles by mothers on the web about what they have to do. To do all this, you end up sleep deprived, sacrifice your own physical and mental health. Why? Because our society gives very little help to mothers. Now, please understand, I am not underestimating the men who step up as fathers. But today I'm talking about mothers and the general expectations of our society. Now, why are mothers sacrificing their own physical and mental health? Because we don't give them much help. Some may get family help, but others do not. Mothers may not even get a half hour a day to care for themselves. If we had compassion for mothers, we would stop the ridiculous commercialization of Mother's Day and find a way to give them some time each day. Immediately, some of you may ask, what about compassion for fathers? I'm not glossing over that, but again, today I'm talking about mothers. Now, all of this work would be bearable if the world were different. Despite all the hoopla that women have opportunities in the job force, the glass ceiling is not broken. Furthermore, women are still barred from numerous jobs despite having the education to be in those jobs. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2022, women made up a bit more than 58% of the labor force, but only 6.5% of them worked in male-dominated professions. I would like to say that they may not want to work in those professions, but a better way to say it is they're not allowed to work in male-dominated jobs. If you follow the research, you will find that the segregation of the job market into male and female jobs is complicated. It relies on policy, job hiring practices, educational exclusion from male-dominated job preparation by both educational and labor entities, and our old familiar sexual harassment. Furthermore, no matter what statistics you look at, male-dominated occupations pay more than female-dominated occupations at the same skill level. Those are the key words, at the same skill level. Now, that has always been my opinion, but I was really surprised to find that this is verified by statistics. Now, if females manage to get into a male-dominated occupation, research shows they're going to be paid less. And please do not think of these jobs as the physical labor jobs. Think of computers and industrial automation and the development of artificial intelligence, which are all male-dominated professions. The Institute for Women's Policy Research says the gender wage gap and occupational segregation are persistent features of the U.S. labor market. Women still earn 82 cents for every dollar that men make. So women who work outside the home, mothers who work outside the home, are systematically excluded from male-dominated jobs, are paid less, but still are expected to provide for their children. This is devastating for all mothers, but particularly devastating for single mothers who are the income of the family. It is also a violation of our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of all persons. As you know, Article 2 of the Unitarian Universalist Association contains our 7 principles. As you know, this article is being revised. But right now, those remain our principles and will be incorporated in our values if that is passed next month at General Assembly. I attended some of the Zoom meetings that gave input into the revision of the article. The word worth is problematic. For people of color whose ancestors were bought and sold, the word worth has an entirely different meaning than I put on it when I read our principles. Unfortunately, in our society, we still speak of what a person is worth, and that worth determines many things, including how people view me. Not just me, you too. That worth determines whether we have entree from the lower class into the middle class, whether we have entree from the middle class into the upper class. Yes, we are judged by our worth, and so are mothers. If we purport to value mothers in our society, yet because what they do, they are worth less than men, if we valued mothers, particularly those mothers who work outside the home and are being underpaid, we would fill the streets demanding fair wages for women. So I will bring this to a conclusion. I do not object to a Mother's Day. I object to the fact that it is a sham. If we honored mothers, we would make sure we fought for justice and equity for them. We would extend compassion to them. We would change our society to provide support for them. We would stop our ridiculous expectations of mothers. May we find ways to truly honor our mothers. Amen, and so may it be. Please remain seated and join me in singing hymn number 3, Mother of All. Words are projected on the screen. It's interesting that a hymn talks about what Mother Earth gives. As our usher collects today's offering, please give what you can. Doing so will help us meet our financial responsibilities to maintain and build this beloved community. You can also give by mail or by using our Giveify app. But giving is not just money, but also volunteering. This month's offering will be most sincerely and gratefully received. May it be lovingly given. Please join me in our offering prayer, which is projected on the screen. May this offering equip us to inspire love and seek justice, including for our mothers. Do we have any announcements? Okay, as you can see, we need to set up and break down on the 19th and the 28th. And masking helps protect those who are immunocompromised.
Yes, I'll have a new sign-up sheet out there for anybody, and I just don't have the energy to call people, so I really appreciate it when you do sign up. And I come back in midweek and check the sign-up sheet in case people sign up after I've left on a Sunday. But they're really easy, short jobs. Like today, the signs didn't get put out. It's not the end of the world, but we had a visitor who was struggling to find our building. So it's always nice when those little jobs get done. Also, we're going to be in the Goshen Market on the second Saturday of every month. I've got a tent I just bought that I'm going to put up to see how easy it is before I decide to keep it. And we've got some creative ideas for getting people to come to the booth. And if somebody wants to kind of be on a committee with me with that, it would be nice. That would be the 8th of June, 2-hour shifts, and just to be there and be friendly and be part of this community. And we'll have like a little free giveaway. But creativity is brewing, and if you have a good idea of what we can do at the Goshen Market tent, please come to me and let me know. Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
Just a quick announcement about the next 2 weeks. As you see on May 19th, that service is going to be dedicated to our children. We'll have an opportunity for any children or new members to be blessed by the congregation in that service. So we're really excited about that. And then the following service on May 26th, we'll have a coming of age ceremony for some of our older kids, and they'll have an opportunity to express their faith in the church, and we'll have an opportunity to encourage them on their way. So we hope you can join us.
Okay, let us go to our closing words. Today, let us go forward, realizing that mothers are human, that we should not hold them to impossible standards, but hold them in love. We bring the worship to a close with the extinguishing of our chalice. As we opened our service with the lighting of the chalice, we close it by extinguishing our chalice. Please join me in saying the words projected on the screen. The light of the truth and meaning cannot be put out. Ye are the keepers of this flame until we meet again. We are grateful to Joy Heft, our pianist, and to our tech team, Katie Heft and Alex Heft. Please remain seated as Joy plays our postlude, and then join us for conversation and coffee back in the room that you came in. Go have a happy Mother's Day.